Hello friends, this is Pastor John Lomacang. You can see me in Jamaican colors. We just had the Parade of Nations here as General Conference 2025 is winding down, and we're at the 3ABN podcast booth. We have Dr. Errol Bryce, who's going to be talking about the neuroscience of our mission. You'll be amazed. Good to have you here, Dr. Bryce.
Good, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, that title, Neuroscience of Our Mission, just explain to us a little bit, first of all, where you're from and what mission you're connected with.
I'm an internal medicine physician. I specialize in internal medicine. I'm in Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area. Been here for the last 40 years.
So the neuroscience of our mission. I know we've heard the neuroscience of psychology and technology, but the neuroscience of our mission. Okay,
there's
explain that for me.
Fascinating results now with a new instrument called functional MRI.
Okay.
It's actually showing that the brain is wired for love. And we know that God is love.
Right.
And we're made in His image. So we're not surprised that we're getting this finding in neuroscience.
Right.
But what is fascinating is that every action, every thought comes through hormones like oxytocin with receptors.
Okay.
Somebody calls you and gives you some bad news. There are chemical changes and chemistry changes, and then water comes through here. These are just chemical changes that are occurring. So we need oxytocin, we need dopamine for this to happen. Now, because of sin, adverse childhood experiences, because of trauma, abandonment, physical, mental, sexual abuse, all of these issues, we end up having, instead of the brain, the love brain that God gives us, we now have a tribal brain. And we all listen to the same radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Oh wow!
We have a different hormone called vasopressin instead of oxytocin. And we do need the feel-good hormone dopamine, but we get it through addictions. So the cigarettes, the alcohol, I noticed that in my patients, they have diabetes and they're drinking 10 bottles of Coke a day. I had to go back and do a specialty in neuroscience, in behavioral science, and clinical trauma to try to figure it out. And we're realizing that you have to somehow turn back on these oxytocin receptors, and they have to get dopamine from a different source other than addiction. These individuals with tribal brain, it's a tormented subconscious state.
Wow, I've never heard this before. I mean, I'm very up to what's going on, but this is really good. Go ahead.
So this tribal brain is operating on fear. There is shame. There is depression. And all of this condition creates a stress response that must be titrated. Now we find out some new data, and this is where it gets very, very fascinating, where that if you take a baby and this baby with a mother, the oxytocin level is the mother is very high, and then the baby is very low. But every time you touch the baby, the oxytocin level, the receptors turn on.